TobeyG and the JD Show, and TobeyG's doing it alone today. JD got inundated with phone calls from our last podcast. He is working on people's computers remotely, and the response was overwhelming. So I'm going to be doing this podcast alone, and we're going to be wishing the people in Texas good fortune. They are experiencing a Category 4 hurricane. They did last night, and they are today with expected 40 inches of rain. And being broadcasting for Florida, we've been through a few hurricanes down here. And similar to Texas, we have like a clay ground, so the water has nowhere to go. That's why it's very easy to have flooding. So it sounds like they're prepared for this. They've had, I guess, more hurricanes than we have in the last few years. They say this is the first one in 10 years, but I believe the last big one was about in 2005, which was Andrew, and that hit Florida. And naturally Katrina, they weren't ready for that. And I wonder what happened in New Orleans. I understand, I was reading an article yesterday that if they had a hurricane today, they are still not prepared. What happened to all that money that the federal government gave to New Orleans and Louisiana to fix the dikes and to be ready if they ever had another one? I'll have to look into that more, so we can talk about it at a future podcast. But it's something that definitely have to take and keep an eye on. Another thing I came across in the mainstream news was, you haven't heard anything about the TSA lately, but I picked up an article about the TSA. There was this gentleman, a businessman. He was going through, I believe it was Houston, and he went through the body scanner, and the body scanner didn't show anything, but they called him aside and they say, "What's in your pocket?" So he opened his pockets, and he had one $1 bill in his pockets. And they pulled him aside, and they gave him a pat-down, a severe pat-down, so severe that this pat-down, that he has to have an operation now. He couldn't even fly that day, and he missed his flight, and he was in so much pain. They grabbed him by the groin so hard. He's been having severe problems ever since, with bleeding and pain and so forth and so on. So I can see a big lawsuit coming, and it's probably a deserving lawsuit, because I think that a lot of these tactics are way out of bounds. Why did they pick on this guy, a frequent flyer, didn't have anything on his pockets? Why did they do this to him? Nothing showed up in the scanner, so he deserves a big payday. But let's get off the track a little bit. Let's do something a little different. In podcast way back, we talked about honey and the benefits of honey for use every single day. I mean, honey, you could keep that for 100 years and it wouldn't go bad. Honey is probably one of the best things that you can take every day. Everyone should take at least 1 tablespoon of honey a day. And they can add it to water, and maybe have it with their lemon water, because that's another good thing, or cider vinegar mixed in with it. And add it to their cooking and use it instead of sugar. Honey is one of the best things you can put in your body, and it has a lot of fights superbugs. It treats burns and wounds. It's an anti-cancer agent. It's found that Manuka honey, which is from New Zealand, may have an anti-cancer effect by helping the immune system fight back. And it's expensive. I was in a health food store just last week, and I looked specifically for it, and I found it. And a small jar was $44. It sounds like a lot of money, but for the benefits that you get from it, the benefits are immense. And a lot of the uses are for wounds, burns, acne, infections, plaque, gingivitis, sore throats, allergy, and it even helps slow down the aging process. And it helps with allergies. Actually, the honey that you should take for allergies is usually honey that is organic from the area that you live in, because the bees get the pollen from the plants that you probably get the allergies from, but actually it combats the allergy, and you're better off with that kind of organic honey if you want to take it for allergies. But you should take honey every single day. You'll be a lot healthier for it. I mean, you'll be very, very happy you did. You'll see an increase in the improvement in your health. I take it every day, and it helps me. My dad did. He lived longer than any of his brothers, and he watched everything he ate. He did the cider vinegar. He added cider vinegar to water every day, and he took honey. And he went to a lot of other extremes too, which benefited him. He lived to 91, where the range of his other brothers were anywhere from 49 to 80, so he beat them all. And he lived a healthy life. He didn't drink and he didn't smoke, but I got him to drink when he was in his 80s. We finally convinced him to have a glass of wine, so he would have a glass of wine and he'd look forward to it a little bit. But I guess I corrupted him, but that's the story there. But the other thing is cider vinegar. The regular cider vinegar off the shelf in a supermarket, or you can use the drinkable cider vinegar, which they sell in health food stores. And I was in that health food store, and they had it on the shelf, and it was unpasteurized. What cider vinegar does for you, you take it straight, but I recommend adding it to water, or you can even throw some honey in it if you don't like the taste, because you get a twofer in that case. It improves constipation. If you have diarrhea, it helps with that. Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome. It prevents infection. Brings down your cholesterol for high cholesterol. It's good for your skin and your hair, and it does wonders for you. So you should take 1 or 2 teaspoons of cider vinegar a day, and you'd be glad you did. It's a wonderful thing that to take and to take care of your health. I mean, age may be a state of mind, but your mind isn't going to be in the right state if your body doesn't feel good. So I encourage you to take the honey and the cider vinegar. I think it's very important. Well, there's a couple other things going on. In the past, we have talked about the Bitcoin, and we've talked about if the government was going to get involved and so forth and so on. Well, an article came out this week. The IRS will track cryptocurrencies. They have a new analysis tool, so they can follow people that buy cryptocurrencies, which is naturally the Bitcoin and other coins like the Bitcoin. And they were bound to get involved. Australia was already getting involved in tracking it, and Japan. So that's going to be another issue that's going to be coming down the road. That's just another thing that the government is going to be eventually getting rid of. They're going to have their own cryptocurrency, and they're going to do away with cash. And that's going to be a very, very bad thing when they do away with cash. They'll control you. And even if they make a mistake, or they do it on purpose, they just clean out your bank account and take all your cryptocurrency. Are you going to be able to get it back from them? And it's up to you to prove that they did it, and they did it illegally. It may take you years, and therefore you have no money. You could have $5 worth of cryptocurrency, or you could have $5 million. They can take that in a heartbeat, and you won't have any say at all. But you got to wake up. You got to pay attention to what's going on. I mean, you should read myangelscloud.com, which is one of our sponsors. A lot of the articles are in reference to cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, and other articles that good for your well-being. I get a lot of the articles from myangelscloud.com. I get some of them from Zero Hedge and other places like that. I try to talk about not the mainstream news. I think that you don't. When the mainstream news today, I would say it's probably 80-90% fake. It's not news. People aren't journalists anymore. A journalist is someone that goes and gets the facts. It may take them a day. It may take them 2 months to get the facts on a particular story, and regardless of their opinion, they report on the facts. That doesn't happen today. They take up their agenda because they have such a large audience, and they're brainwashing people. I mean, just actually, to bring down a government, you need the government to bring down the people and control the people, to go towards socialism and communism and so forth. You have to control the health care. That's what Obamacare was all about. It wasn't about health. And you have to control the media. That's all this fake news. They're trying to control the people. And that includes Fox News, too. They're trying to control your mind with their opinion, whether it be left, right. They're more right, but with the Sun's taking over Fox News, Murdoch's, you're going to start seeing it go more left all the time. And the Washington Post, LA Times, New York Times, and so forth. Today, you're better off getting your news from the Daily Caller or something like that overseas, because it's more accurate than the news media here. Anybody that watches the news and believes what they're saying really needs to wake up, because you are not getting accurate information. The information you are getting is made up. They are out to take down anybody that stands in their way. And they want to control the people, and the people that are listening. And if you are, I mean this, you're a sheeple. You need to. You can't be sheep and follow the herd. You have to know what's going on. It's that important. It's going to affect your life. It's going to affect everybody's life, and you're not going to. They're already taking away our free speech. They're doing everything they can to take away our free speech. And I saw a video the other day, and it was an Antifa member telling other members that when they go out and if people try to talk to them with their masks on, of course, to talk louder than them and scream so you can't hear them and other people can't hear what the people that are trying to talk to them in a normal way. They just want to scream at you and intimidate you, and this is worse. This is worse than this is like when the Nazis were there. Antifa is a bad group, as is the right wing Ku Klux Klan and white supremacists. They need to be done away with. I mean, the government needs to clamp down on both these, the left and the right. But you don't hear the news media talking about the Antifa. They're not talking about. They didn't talk about the violence and the throwing of urine and feces and stones at the Boston rally. They just said they were peaceful. That's bullshit. Okay, that's not true at all. For the amount of 40,000 demonstrators that were there, relatively peaceful. But they didn't tell you about the bad stuff that was going on. The facing off with cops, calling them down, and throwing things at them. They didn't talk about that. And you got to wake up. Now, you're going to see a lot more of these demonstrations that are going to be coming. Now the colleges are going back as the professors are calling for violence and taking down the right, the conservatives and so forth and so on. But I tell you, beware of the silent majority. They're out there and they know what's going on. And if they have to, they're going to protect themselves. They may not be the aggressors, but I pity the aggressors because they're going to lose in the long run. This is the United States of America. And let's get on a little lighter note so I don't have a stroke over here. And this aggravates me to see our country going down the tubes. And really, really bothers me. But here's a couple of things that are a little lighter. Let's see who said this. Okay. You try to guess it. Courage is grace under pressure. Courage is grace under pressure. Ernest Hemingway said that, which is, that's a nice little saying. Another thing is, What is success? Success is most often achieved by those who don't know that failure is inevitable. Let me repeat that. Success is most often achieved by those who don't know that failure is inevitable. That's Cuckoo Channel, whoever that was. I don't know who that was that said that, but that was interesting. And then in the third one, I always say 3 every podcast. Things work out best for those who make the best of how things work out. Let me repeat that. Things work out best for those who make the best of how things work out. That's a true statement. And it's really, really important that kind of follow these things. A lot of these famous people made these statements, and they were right. They were really right. Well, let's see what else is going on here. You got computers and websites done right. That's JD, his company. He's been very, very busy, and his number is 1-844-429-3579. I'll repeat that. That's 1-844-429-3579. That's computers and websites done right. That's in Florida, but he fixes the computers remotely, dealing with somebody from the United States, not somebody from India or Pakistan or another country. And he has 20 years of computing experience. He's got other people on his staff. And he's a great guy. You've heard him on the podcast before, and he'll be back on our next podcast or the one after that. But he's been busy. He's trying to get a little bit of coverage going on here. Oh, let's see what else is going on. Oh, here's another thing. You know what people aren't telling you is they're taking down all these statues, Confederate statues. Well, I got pretty much going on that last week about how they should take down the Black Panther statue in Detroit of the fist. They should take down who I admire, Martin Luther King, but he was against gays. And they should take down his statue as well. But take a look at this. Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi, old facelift herself. She's talking about she walked by 30 statues for 30 years, and she never said a word. Now she wants all these Confederate statues taken down in the Capitol. What she doesn't tell you that her father dedicated a statue to Robert E. Lee in his day. He dedicated it. So, talk about hypocrisy. It's unbelievable. It really, really is unbelievable. Then there was another story that came out this week, and I just thought that this was unbelievable. And you can go to myangelscloud.com. That's myangelscloud.com. I'll go to our Facebook fan page. It's TobeyG and JD Show. That's TobeyG and JD Show. We've got over 3,000 followers and members of our podcast, of our Facebook page. Join us. And I have a post on there that came from myangelscloud.com as a first grader was sent to the principal's office for misidentifying another child. What happened here is this school, it was like a kindergarten or first grade. All the kids were in the room, and one of the kids went out of the room and came back as a girl, and the teacher changed the name of the girl because she really wanted to be a girl, and she was really a boy, and one of the kids got confused and called by the wrong gender, the wrong name, and the kid was sent to the principal's office. A 5-year-old doesn't know it. He believes that the gender they are is what they were born with. This is getting out of control. And it's not funny because it's a slippery slope. It's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. This is crazy. This is 1/3 of 1% of the population is getting all this attention, and it's just one thing after another to keep everybody's eye off the ball as the country goes down the wrong path. And you really need to pay attention to these things. You really do. And we were talking about Hurricane Harvey that hit Texas last night and this morning, and that just is another reason why you really need to take a look at the Big Berkey water systems, water filters, And I've got one. Right now, the people in Texas, the first thing that went off the shelves in the supermarket when this was headed to them was the water. The water was all gone. They ran out of water. You need to have one of these filtration systems. You can take standing water and you can purify it through this and get most of the impurities out of it. And you really need to take a look at this. You go to myangelscloud.com, click on the Big Berkey banner, and it'll take you right to their website. They have water storage, water filters. They have everything you need to survive. You can't live without water. It's very important. Water is very important. You need water to survive. And until our next podcast, I hope you have a wonderful day, and maybe JD will be available and he'll join us.